Had that. Cracked open the first 3-4 hours of Like a Dragon.
Mm-hmm.
Holy fuck. Holy fucking shit. What a perfect game. Like,
Ichiban
oh
is the
my
dumbest
god, it's
motherfucker
so
you will
good.
ever see.
It's so good. Everything we did in those first couple of hours has been flawless. Like,
Yeah.
I can feel the rest of the franchise getting ruined a little bit.
Yeah, a little
Because I
bit.
can't believe how well this all comes together. Music, every track that plays was a banger. The
Yep.
city on the new engine is amazing. The
Yeah,
just the
yeah.
lighting and the physics and the walking around in first person throughout the city and blowing my brain out with nostalgia for walking around Japan. Like, you can absolutely simulate what it was like to go visit there. The fucking just Ichiban is great. He's hilarious. He's fun. He establishes his character very quickly, and you get the
As
deal.
the total opposite of
Absolute
Kiryu.
peak
Just
himbo. I think it for me, it's the moment when he's like yelling at the pecking duck sign
it's
for not
yelling at
being
the physical
open,
sign. Like
and then
there's no one there.
yeah, and then the boss is like, "Fucking all right, relax," and then he goes, "Oh man, all right, we'll get you next time." And then a bunch of just some random people walk by with their New Year's glasses on and just go, haha. They laugh at him acting silly. And he just goes, hey, Happy New Year to some strangers.
Yeah.
And the dude's like, man, Yakuza don't laugh, dude. You know? And I was like, oh, shit, okay.
He's not a particularly good Yakuza.
Yeah. Pretty the waving at strangers part, was just like, all right, got it, I the moment that got clipped is just the one like second of what the fuck is this bread tech that they flexed on us, where he bites into a delicious looking piece of bread and you see it tear dynamically with multiple shapes and compress in his teeth. It was wild. It was absolutely wild.
I told you.
Um,
I don't know if you remember, but last week before you did this, I'm like, watch out for that bread,
what a
and you
flex.
went, okay.
What a flex.
It's it. I spoke about it when I played it a long time ago originally, and I was like, I think my initial thing is like, it feels like they are showing off a fucking technical or animation thing.
Yep.
Because
Yep.
and now that I've beaten the game, that bread shit is
Yeah.
never used ever
For
again.
sure.
It is only for that one shot.
They have a multi-mesh 3D object that is like switching states dynamically to be like intact, torn, compressed, crushed, ripped, and looked like real chewed food. And it feels like they want you to just be in awe of the new engine we're on.
It's kind of crazy because this is the third game in that engine. It was Yakuza 6 and then Judgment and then this.
Not Kiwami?
Kiwami 2 also, so it's the fourth game.
Yeah.
And in Kiwami 2 there's a part where they're pouring wine into a glass and it's similarly impressive. And the Yakuza games aren't the most high budget. In fact, I'd say they're like
Definitely
double A games. And like it's like you're seeing like what might be the most impressive asset reuse ever in terms of like Kamurocho.
Mm-hmm.
Like what, 13 fucking games with minor
Same
variations.
Mm-hmm.
But every now and then they decide to spend some fucking inordinate amount of time on some minor detail and it fucking shoots out at you. One of the things is like pouring liquids into glasses is always a plus. Where we have seen hundreds of games where pouring a liquid into a glass just has their engine just shit itself and doesn't know what to do.
Also, I don't know if you remember what follows the bread scene, but immediately after that scene, it then cuts to him sleeping under the covers in his bed.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You know, so yeah, they got it down. They're showing you that they got it down. So all of that is incredible. And then they show you the low budget scenes, cutscenes, the times when it's like we don't have full animation, but we're just static posing, you know, as our lines.
We're going to use the same animations we've been using since 2004 in some cases.
And now even those low budget cutscenes look good because they've been filtered to look like these dream memory sequences, you know, to show you like the origins of Ichiban and stuff like that. The RPG system is fantastic.
It's a really, really good RPG.
It works
especially
so well
from a team that it's their first go at it.
Mm-hmm. And there's an aspect of like physical space that you do need to be aware of. Like I went to attack a dude who was behind a brute, and the brute like fucking hit me out of the way before I could make it behind him, and I was like, oh shit, the walking around randomly does matter, you know, a little bit, or like getting there in time to stomp on somebody for a free hit, you know. It works. It fucking comes together, you know, and he's celebrating his level ups, and then you see him literally doing it in the middle of the street, you know. I just.
So let me ask you. You're being sponsored to play Like a Dragon.
Yes.
And you're being sponsored. I think you said 13 hours.
About.
Is that 13 hours on the clock, or is that stop here?
What do you mean?
Is it like, hey, play it for 13 hours, or is it like get up to this point that should be about 13 hours?
It's on the clock, but I'm going to stop at a natural conclusion.
Okay.
I'm not going to stop prior to a natural conclusion.
You're gonna be in a fucking world of pain sitting on that shit for 8 years.
I get it, but it's I'm not that worried about it. We'll see what happens, but I'm right now I'm floored with the quality, and who knows, you know, what the future holds. But I mean, I have Zero. I'm working on Zero. This is what we're doing, you know. So we started with the dub, and the dub is excellent.
Is it not excellent?
You get called a cum stain like in the first 10 minutes or whatever. Shit is wild. Pro ZD is in there. George Takai.
The localization for the Yakuza games has always been exemplary, but once they started to dub them, it's been like above and beyond, and is probably the most impressive dub job in the entire game industry.
It's unbelievable.
The fact that they got the lip syncing thing on point. Great.
Yes.
They also have an extraordinarily talented localization team that is now moving into dubbing, right? Mm-hmm. And they're aces. They're injecting just the right amount of vernacular and like common language, and like you said, like calling you a cum stain, for example.
Excuse me,
but
George
on top
Takei.
of that, they even go so far as to have alternate sets of subtitles, which is the craziest. If you're playing, like I played Judgment in
dub
Japanese,
titles,
and you get subtitles that are translating the intent, and then if you play it dubbed, you get closed captioning that describes the audio.
Yep, subtitles and dub titles. It's perfect. Also, the grunts and barks of the enemies are not translated, so the dudes you're punching out are still going "Hurrah!"
That'd be way too much. That'd be like, holy shit, get the hell out of here.
The barks are still raw Japanese. Johnny Young Bosch in there, and then so that's working as well. And then like just that initial flashback establishing these characters, like the boss's flashback. I'm like getting drawn in, like, oh my fucking god, like there's like a chest buster moment in the first hour where he's banging on that locker, and I'm just like, like, holy fuck. Oh my god, it's so
Locker
tense.
Baby,
Locker Baby.
it's like it's this great
Ugh.
thing because like the Yakuza games are the most Japanese games to ever exist. And Coin Locker Baby literally taught me that Japan has its own form of dumpster baby. It
I
has a
forgot
unique type
about
of
the
dumpster baby.
existence of those things until like it happened. I was like, what are they? What? And it's like, oh my god, right. Yes, they exist in Japan all over the place. Oh man. Yeah, that was wild. So yeah, and then it pretty much, just got through that little intro, met like one of the characters that appears to be someone that I'm going to be hanging out with for some time.
Oh man, it's really hilarious because like like, ignoring the fact that every Japanese RPG spoils the entire party in the intro, meeting characters in Like a Dragon is fucking goofballs in terms of joining up because they all are people that stand out with huge primary colors.
Okay.
Like Ichiban's
they don't
red.
look like NPCs.
The second guy is blue. The third
okay.
guy is green, etc.
The party.
And so on and so forth.
Yeah.
So you met Adachi?
I met the Lei Wulong old cop.
Yeah, that's Adachi. And he laughed at your haircut?
Yep. Yeah. What a dick. Man. Fucking 18 goddamn years and you're doing the best you can and you don't even have a fucking night's rest on a real bed and this dude is laughing at what a piece of shit. Anyway.
So, I'm not sure if you're familiar, but the voice actor for Adachi in Japanese is the guy who does Solid Snake and Wham.
Oh, okay.
And it's weird because
wait, hold on. So sorry. In Japanese,
Akio.
In Japanese, it's Akio Otsuka.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Yes, I saw someone say that. Yes.
It's weird because it makes him sound way cooler.
Like, tough guy cop. Like, yeah, for sure. Bato.
Yeah, there's a really bizarre thing going on with these characters in that like my perception of them changes a little bit. Like the guy who voices a character you run into later was the live action actor who played Hideaki Anno in a fucking adaptation of like his life in a movie. And oh wow, he like that guy. You're gonna run into him, and you're like, yeah, he looks like Anno.
Okay.
Yeah, no.
If this cop dude was voiced by fucking Bato, then I would have different feelings about him certainly. But at the very least in the English, everyone's the entire cast in English has been incredible so far. But I'm gonna be switching over to hear both. For sure. I believe isn't he Sojiro in English?
I would not know.
I think he's that guy. Papaneer Sojiro. But yeah, anyway, it ends up being just wildly good. And the funny thing too is because I'm playing it with V, and he's in the middle of I think he was playing like 4 or 3, like I forget which one he's on, but like he's new on this too, and he's just like, yeah, this makes it rough to go back to some of those older ones, man. It is crazy leaps and bounds.
It's kind of a new version of like what I would call the Atlas problem, like being able to choose your skills in Demon Fusions, shit like that.
Yep, absolutely. Modern
the
SMT
only
and Persona.
one, genuinely the only one that's like really like feels impossible to go back to is 1. Because
it's a different genre entirely.
The side quests in 1 aren't fun. They're serious.
Okay.
They're almost all kind of serious.
Okay.
And like 80% of them are variations of I bumped into you, you broke my arm. Scam shit.
Okay.
The humor, the real zany ass humor started with like 2.
Kiwami undoes that though, right?
No.
Really? Wow. They kept that the same.
Yeah.
Okay.
So um, like 1 and Kiwami 1 are skippable, but I would say watch all the cutscenes because the
Okay.
cutscenes in Kiwami 1 are still killer. But like the actual game itself,
I mean, just the tonal dissonance between what you're describing and Kiryu walking up to a radio, and then the radio guy is like, "Hey, it's me," you know, like it's like what it does the Moriocho radio Kai Harada thing, and then suddenly Kiryu's like, "Oh man, oh these stories are interesting. I should write my own." And, and you
yeah.
just get drawn into like the world of some dumb like 4 coma, you know, strip or whatever. It's like, yeah, I kind of feel like that humor and shit not being there would make a lot of those side quests possibly intolerable. The main quest is there for all of that your serious needs, but like helping random people over shit that like ends up not really mattering in the end, like either make a profound statement about society or make me laugh. But
Yeah,
that's
if
it,
you were
you
gonna
know?
if you were gonna go through Kiwami 1, I would say like mainline it as hard as you can. Like the side content in Kiwami is just not, it's not there.
Mm. But yeah,
Um,
so it was like impeccable so far, and
mhm.
cannot wait to jump back in. And I'll say too that the PS5 version, uh fucking loading is nothing. I can't read the
Yeah,
loading screens. You know what I mean? They
it's
just
goofy. Yeah,
they come and they fucking go. And then at one point just being like, "Hey, walk into that burger joint. Cool. Now walk upstairs of the burger joint." And it's like, "Oh
yeah.
yeah, indoor, outdoor, upstairs, downstairs, all of it. It's loaded in. It's active. Like interiors and exteriors are all just waiting for you to go check it out in seamless,
Mhm.
you know, fucking yeah, experience." So, wow at that.